Welcome back, gamers. So we have the December 3rd monthly ban and Errata update, and while some people were concerned about Bertolt Hoover 2 maybe being a bit of a menace, I can honestly say I don't think anyone was very prepared for what actually is on this list. I know a lot of people, like me, probably thought there wasn't going to be any ban and erratas because we haven't really had a lot of info aside from just playtesting. So not a lot of official info to make such an announcement. But we do have one errata, and that is to the menace of all menaces, NATO Monoma, who for some reason isn't showing up in the image here. So I will actually pull him up on Ultra. So NATO Monoma, this jerk. Yeah, because for some reason it's not showing up in the image here. So NATO Monoma is an all good and life character from Crimson Rampage. So he's only got about 4 months until he rotates. He'll rotate in March with the incoming Critical Role Heroes of Exandria set. He currently says response once per game, so a once per game ability, very powerful. After your attack deals damage, gain all abilities on your rival's character for the rest of the game. This ability cannot be cancelled. And enhance, your attack gains a keyword trait of your choice, and if it gains taunt, your attack gets +1 damage. So, what he says now is response once per game. After your attack deals damage, gain all blitz, enhance, form, and responsibilities printed on your rival's character for the rest of the game. This ability cannot be cancelled. So basically, he can no longer copy static effects. So effects that don't actually have any sort of trigger or anything, just static printed effects like Emir's your attacks get +2 speed on her transformed side. He would not be able to copy that. Basically, he would, and it says it's the first modern attempt at a character copying the opposing character, but he was written under the old design philosophy where they weren't experimenting with new ideas quite so rapidly. Emphasis on rapidly. They're using a lot less blanket ideas when possible in their design now, and Monoma questions come up quite a lot from both players and their internal discussions when developing new projects. The change to his character at this time is primarily to limit his interactions as the retro pool grows wider. That's interesting, because retro is anything from Jasko's first Red Horizon printing to current status, current releases. We considered limiting him to non-continuous abilities, but instead chose to point out the specific types of abilities that he will emulate moving forward. So, like I said, he doesn't copy static abilities. So, which is basically kind of what they did. I mean, response, enhance, form, blitz. I can't think of any other printed type of ability, aside from a static. This also prevents current situations like the Immortal Monoma in the Reiner Braun Warrior matchup. So basically, Reiner Braun, I'll bring him up, says, as a static, if you would lose the game due to your health being reduced below 1, instead, transform Reiner Braun and return to maximum health. So, in Universus, you do as much of the effect as possible. So similar to Botan's coaching, where it says both players discard 1 card and draw 1 card. Discarding 1 card is not a cost, it is part of the effect, so if you have no cards in your hand to discard, you simply draw 1 card. If Monoma copied Reiner, if your health would be reduced to below 1, you could just return to maximum health and you basically cannot die. So that is pretty ridiculous. The ability would allow you to constantly transform without using transformation, yada yada yada. And if it was just that, just saying, hey, Monoma cannot copy continuous or static abilities anymore, I probably wouldn't be making this video. I'd probably just make a little community post on YouTube about it, and we'd go from there. But I noticed something, and those of you who are very astute probably noticed it too. Let's go over the new wording on the response. Once per game, after your attack deals damage, gain all response, form, enhance, and blitz abilities printed on your rival's character for the rest of the game. Blitz abilities have only been shown on attacks. So let's... Yeah, Blitz, there's 180 results. And if you can see, except for like this response that cancels a Blitz, anything with a Blitz ability is an attack. Under current design, most of us, or at the very least me, we have an action, but that cancels a Blitz. Blitzes, from the design standpoint, and any devs watching this video for some reason, feel free to correct me in the comments. But what I assume, and what a lot of us, I believe, assume blitzes to be, are abilities on attacks that basically allow your attack to do what it's intending to do before your rival has a chance to interact with it. Which is why it happens at the beginning of the enhanced step, and there are only 2 things right now that can cancel blitz abilities. So it doesn't just say enhance form and response abilities on your character, which are, aside from static abilities, the only abilities we have seen on characters. We've seen forms, responses, enhances. We've never seen a blitz ability on a non-attack card. So this little bit of future-proofing leads me to believe we might get blitz speed abilities printed on characters in the near future. Again, it could just be future-proofing and just saying, hey, you know, these are the types of timing abilities that they get. But at that point, why not just say non-static abilities? This character gains all non-static abilities printed on your rival's character. I mean, I get that limiting him to non-continuous abilities, which is basically non-statics, so why not just change, like maybe if you need to rewrite the actual rules document to define what a static ability or a continuous ability is, and then just say he copies non-static abilities. But they didn't do that. And they didn't simply limit it to enhance, form, response, which are what we've seen printed on characters before. So does this little addition mean we're going to get blitz abilities on non-attack cards, like a blitz ability, like I could see it on an action maybe. I could see that. It kind of fits that quick timing thing. But are we going to see blitz abilities on characters now? That's something to think about. And I think that could be really interesting. Because having an ability on your character is usually what's going to drive your deck, and they usually have pretty good abilities. So if you have a blitz ability on a character, especially a reusable blitz ability on your character, there's plenty to cancel enhances, responses. Not a lot touches character abilities, but not a lot counters blitz abilities either. So even if it's like, hey, I can cancel this enhance even if it's a character enhance, well, technically you can't cancel my blitz unless you have one of 2 action cards right now. So that could be an incredibly powerful design space, and that is what caught my attention in this. More so that I don't think anyone was really asking for Monoma to be hit. I can only think of one person, honestly, that's vocal about enjoying Monoma as a character. I don't know. So that's kind of just what I wanted to hop on and stick that earworm in people's heads and say, hey, are we getting Are we going to see blitzes on non-attack cards? And are we going to see them on character cards? Where this already hard to interact with timing keyword can be on an even more uninteractive space. Yeah, so that's it. Just the quick rules dump, the quick ban and errata update for December 2024. Pretty sure we're not going to have any news until January 2025, and even then, I doubt we're going to get anything banned or errata just before the Nationals. But who's to say? It's all up in the air. But I will see you guys in the next one, and until then, take care and happy holidays.